Good morning, everyone. I think it's time for us to start the session. My name is Sandy Ledwell, and I am the Director of AMSTI at the State Department. And I'm also moderating this session in addition to presenting on AMSTI's K-5 computer science efforts. And with us for this session, we have Gina McCarley. Gina, would you like to unmute and say a few words?
Good morning, everyone.
We would also like to take this opportunity again to thank our sponsors. Without them, this session, along with the conference today, would not be possible. So we appreciate their support very much. I think earlier this morning in the main session, I saw a lot of chat going on about K-5 computer science and about the act that is coming online for elementary students, not this school year, but next school year. So we know that there is a lot of interest in what K-5 students will be needing and what teachers will need to help them support the course of study for K-5 students. So we're going to touch on a little bit of all of that today, and I'm trying to talk and monitor the chat at the same time. I see that we have some folks who cannot hear. If you can hear, could you let us know that in the chat, please, that you have sound and the audio is working well? Okay. Amy, you might need to, thank you, everyone. Amy, you might need to log back out of the session and in again. That happened to me actually right before this session started. And I will put that in the chat in just a moment. So thank you, Gina. Gina, would you like to start us off with the offerings that A+ has for elementary teachers?
Sure. Let me go ahead and share my screen. A+ College Ready is a partner with code.org to provide computer science fundamentals training at no cost for K-5 teachers. If you don't know about computer science fundamentals, I got so excited when I heard Ruth speaking this morning, because she was talking about, you know, when someone asked the question about the AI, teaching it in China at kindergarten and what we were doing and what she felt was important. She mentioned learning those computational thinking skills is most important for elementary and for students early on, and that's what computer science fundamentals is all about. Computer science fundamentals is a no-cost course and lesson system provided by code.org that teachers can use, that blends online learning plus unplugged activities to teach students about computational and help develop those computational thinking skills and problem solving, and teaches them about digital citizenship and those important foundational skills that we need students to get early on. The curriculum that they have for us is kindergarten through 5th grade, and there are varying number of lessons, at least 12 lessons per course, and there are six courses that are available for those age students. A+ College Ready, in partnership with them, we offer a couple of different training opportunities. We have one-day training, which is actually into computer science for teachers for teachers to get a good understanding of what computer science is. And we talk about some of those things that we heard Ruth and Nick Moore speak about this morning about the need for computer science education across the country as well as in our state. We also talk to the teachers and share information about Alabama's digital literacy and computer science standards that we're all expected to meet with our students. And in that one day, they get an introduction to computational thinking, and we actually take some time in the afternoon to examine the CS Fundamentals curriculum in the training, so teachers could see what would be available for their students. New this year, we offer a day 2 training, follow-up training from that day 1 CS Fundamentals. And this training, we focus a lot on some of those key concepts in CS vocabulary. If there's been some time between the day 1 training and the day 2, we're going to reflect on the implementation if teachers are already implementing it in their classroom, or if they're back to back, we're going to help teachers prepare for the implementation of CS fundamentals in their classrooms. We're going to explore CS with teachers and have them think about how it relates to them in the subjects they teach and how they could integrate it into whatever they teach, say a science class, a math class, English class, whatever. We're going to help them with that in the day 2. The workshops are for K-5 teachers. There's no prerequisite. Whatever teacher wants to sign up, they're in the right place, whether they have a CS background or no CS background. Like I say, it's completely free for the teachers. There's no fee for the training due to the sponsorship with Code.org and the State Department of Education. The curriculum, there's no cost with that. It is web-based, so it'll work on Chromebooks, laptops, whatever, the school has. And as a part of it, depending on the day 1 or day 2, they'll receive different things, but they'll get at no cost sent to them a curriculum guide, a certificate of completion for the PD credit for the training. They'll get some Code.org swag. Actually, we send them a computer science book for their classroom library, and breakfast and lunch is provided for teachers. So all that is provided at no cost for the workshops. The upcoming training opportunities that we have for this summer, we've already had a lot of schools inquire and ask about their teachers getting trained. I want to reiterate the state requirements for computer science education. This school year we were in now, with the Alabama legislation, all high schools had to offer computer science. It was a requirement. This upcoming school year, 2021-2022, all middle schools will be required to offer computer science. And then in 22-23, all elementary schools will be required to incorporate computer science into their courses. So a lot of teachers and schools are wanting to get ahead of the game for the 22 school year, and they've asked us about training. We've got in-person training opportunities that, the training is not going to be at any cost. The school would have to take up the cost of the travel, though, for these in-person, or we're going to have those at Wetumpka and Hewitt-Trussville this summer. There are also virtual training opportunities as soon as May 12th. You can get online and request to be included in that training. And we have 2 other trainings this summer. And to get to these, to register, you can go to aplusala.org and go to our events calendar, and you can get the links to register for any of these training opportunities. If you have at least 15 teachers at your school that need training and you want us to come to you, we can either come to you or we can schedule a virtual time for you to have training. If you have at least 15 teachers that need training, you can just go to that bit.ly and you can request a session, and we can set up a session for you, and it's at no cost for those training sessions. Okay, hopefully I can get back and stop sharing.
All right, Gina, are you still there? I'm not seeing on my screen. Okay, I don't see Gina. Do you have any questions that you would like to go ahead and put in the Q&A for Gina? And when she comes back in, there she comes. Hey, there you are. So if you guys have any questions for Gina, if you would pop those in the Q&A at the top right. And Gina, there was some question about the information that you were sharing. They did not see your screen. Is there a way you could put a link to that document in the chat?
I sure can. I'm getting feedback, so I'm going to mute, but I'll put all the information in the chat.
Great. Thank you. Are there other questions for Gina? Okay, and I see that mobile users do not have access to Q&A, so feel free to also pop any questions that you have or comments into the chat. Gina has placed in the chat box the link to the training events for A+ College Ready for this summer. And the bit.ly link is, I believe, the link where if you have more than 15 teachers who would like a session that is specific for your school, you can go to that link and request that session. Again, all of those sessions are at no cost to the teacher, and teachers receive training materials and extensive support in being able to implement the training into the classroom. So there's some other information being put into the chat for you right now about the dates and locations of the trainings that are already set up in case you have teachers who would like to join those sessions. The registration for all of those takes place at the aplusala.org website, and if you go there, you can see it very clearly on where and how to register for those. Okay, we'll go ahead and move this at this point in time. So for me to share a little bit with you about what we have going on with AMSTI to make sure that we are able to meet your needs for the K-5 integration, and I am going to attempt to share my screen at this point and try to talk and navigate at the same time. Okay, so hopefully you are seeing the slides on the screen at this point. And for AMSTI, what we have decided is that integration is the way to go for us, and that the course of study for digital literacy and computer science in grades K-5 are really all about integration, and that is the approach that we're taking to our support. So what we have, or what I'll speak to this morning, are 4 different areas that you can connect with us around our CS efforts. And you see those on the screen there in front of you now. Professional learning, curriculum that has been written and vetted to align with the materials that AMSTI provides, robotics tools, and then some funding opportunities that we want to make sure that you are aware of. So as you guys have said in some of the chatting earlier in earlier sessions, a lot of elementary teachers are not necessarily equipped with incorporating CS instruction into the classroom. And I feel very confident to say that. I am an elementary trained teacher, and I know that this was all new territory for me when we started on this journey a few years ago. And the specialists, the regional specialists that AMSTI has in the field are no different. And I know that we are joined by some of those. I see them in the people log this morning. So folks, feel free to chime in with any of your comments as we go through these slides. But we knew that in order for our regional specialists to be able to go into the classroom and support teachers with CS integration, they needed some professional learning on the front end to pour into them the knowledge and the comfort level and the confidence level to be able to go into a classroom and support teachers through that integration. So our specialists have been involved in some pretty intensive professional learning this semester. And you see some details about that on the screen. You may have seen, if you follow us on Twitter, you may have seen some tweets about this work. But basically what they have done is they had a full day session with Dr. Steger, and they have learned about modeling in the classroom with him. And he's actually coming into a model classroom that we have set up in the Alabaster City Schools. And he is modeling how you co-teach CS and how you coach a teacher with CS integration. And you see Denise is one of our specialists. She says it's been a personal challenge, smiley face. That's what I've heard from several of our specialists in the field. It's really intense and taking our thinking thought processes to a whole new level, but we are excited about that learning. What we also have is, as the specialists are learning and growing, they are more comfortable and more equipped to be able to come into the classroom and work side by side with your teachers in a co-teaching fashion and in a coaching role to support the teachers. And this is one of our pilot teachers here who you may have seen again on Twitter, some of her comments about being a part of this work this year or this semester with her students, and some of the amazing things that her students are being able to create, and how you can see in the background how engaged they are with the learning. There are already some other professional development offerings that we have that are ready for all students or for all teachers to be able to take advantage of. We have offered a session on the standards, the DLCS standards themselves. How do you take a deep dive into those standards and to know what is being expected of the students at each of the grade levels? And then what does it mean to be intentional with the integration of those CS skills into the content area that you are teaching? Both Gina and another person in our chat earlier said that CS doesn't have to be one more thing. It doesn't have to be an extra thing on your plate. And in fact, that is not the intent at all. The intent is for students to understand how CS is a tool that they can use to do other things. And although there's a specific body of knowledge that students have to know to be able to perform, that being intentional about connecting to the integrated to the other subjects is very important. We also have professional development already created on robotics tools that can be used, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in just a moment. We are working right now on a session that would be for library media specialists, because we know in many schools that's the person who is tasked with a lot of DLCS work. So we're working to be able to meet the needs of your library media specialists. Another item that is coming soon is professional development specific to DLCS integration. We have some, but using the feedback that we get from people, from you guys, from other people in the field, we are building professional development sessions to meet your needs. And I see in the chat a question about where do we find the information. There's some information located for you on the AMSTI website, that is amsti.org. But you are also always able to link to your regional director for whatever in-service center region you are in, and they will be able to share with you the information that they have available. We are going to have some summer PD sessions that we offer that are virtual this summer, and that flyer and information will come out in May. So in just another week or two, you can expect to see that flyer. We will push it out via social media and put it on our website. So here's some things that you can access right now. We have integrated resources that were developed by AMSTI specialists to work to coincide with the AMSTI science units. So if you are a school where you already receive science units in AMSTI, we have a digital literacy computer science component that integrates with some of those. And we have at least one robotics tool per grade level to incorporate with those science units. If you have not been able to access the science training at this point and would like to do that, those sessions are also arranged via your regional AMSTI director, and you can find all of their contact information if you are not familiar with them at the amsti.org website. I want to take just a moment to plug the proficiency scales. I have teased and joked that I am making proficiency scales my mission across the state, and many of you may have heard me talk about proficiency scales in other content areas because the state has developed these for math, science, English language arts, and so on. Even health and physical education has them. If you're not familiar with what proficiency scales are, just a quick little blip about those is it takes the standard for whatever grade and for whatever grade level and content area that you're talking about, and it breaks those standards down into a set of skills across 4 levels, and with level 3 content being the content that is on grade level content. So if we're talking specifically about DLCS, then what skills in each standard do students need to know and be able to do at grade level? And then the beauty of proficiency scales for me is that when you look at that level 2 content, that's the content that students have to know to be able to perform the grade level content. So if your students are coming to you with gaps, which we know that they will in the fall, we hope post-COVID, that level 2 content is the content that the students need to know to be able to access the grade level content at level 3. These proficiency scales for digital literacy and computer science are now available, and they are on the AMSTI website that you can download and use. They are in their Google Docs, so you can download those and use them as a starting point, edit those however you would like, or you could use them to make a student-friendly scale based off of the teacher scale. And if you want more information about digital literacy, computer science proficiency scales, or proficiency scales in general, please let us know, and we will be glad to help you with that. And next, I appear to be, there we go. Currently, we are working in 14 different school districts across the state to integrate a computer science application with Engineering is Elementary. So for those of you who are familiar with AMSTI and the services that we provide, you know that we use The engineering is elementary curriculum to meet our engineering standards that are a part of the science course of study. That is a curricula that is provided by the Boston Museum of Science. And they are working to add a CS integration piece with their engineering is elementary curriculum, which just takes the storyline of the engineering unit one step further, still using that whole engineering design process, but then using a CS integration to talk about solving a problem using a CS tool. And those most often make use of Scratch and or Scratch Junior, depending on the grade level of the program. So we are excited about this and anxious to get the feedback from this to see if it is an offering that we will be adding to our matrix of offerings that you can access across the state. And each year, well, before I go to that, these are the tools. If you remember, I spoke a few moments ago about the robotics tools that are available. These are the ones that we currently have available in all regions of the state. Some regions have some others in addition, but these are the basic set of robots that you can expect to find at your regional AMSTI site. These are available for checkout, and not only for you to check out and use in your classroom, but to incorporate the coaching support and in-classroom support from the regional specialist as well. And we hope that you will make use of that opportunity. They're great. The students enjoy these. And as I saw one principal commenting earlier that they love CS and their students do too. And that's absolutely right, because the students are engaged and they're problem solving and they love having any opportunity to work with these robotics tools. And then each year, as long as the legislature appropriates this line item in the funding in the ETF, we have a robotics grant opportunity that comes available each July. And what this does is it has a very simple application process, which actually we are working to simplify even more for this upcoming fiscal year, where each school is able to request a $1,500 up to $1,500 grant for robotics tools. So again, the application opens each July, and we push that out via a memo from Dr. Mackey. So look for that memo. And then if you go to amsti.org/robotics, bookmark that page, because we update that as we go to provide all the information that you need in order to apply, to deadlines, the application process, all of the tools that you need in order to apply for that grant. So we hope that everyone on this session and all your friends, tell all your friends about it, because we don't want any of this money to go unclaimed. We want it all to be out in schools and in districts. So there are multiple ways to go about this. If you are a district person and you want to complete the application, one for each one of your schools, you can do that. If you're a teacher in an individual school, please feel free to to complete the grant on your own as well. But we're wanting all of this funding to be allocated out to the individual schools. And I believe my computer is being slow today and not cooperative, but I believe that is the end. Does anyone have any questions at this point? either for myself or for Gina.
Sandy, I don't see any questions in the chat. Someone was missed a presentation and they've been asking some questions, but the recording for all these sessions, I think they'll probably post them at the end of the day. Not sure about that, but they will be available. And I would want to strongly encourage teachers to go ahead and get signed up for these PDs, especially while there's funding available and they're provided at no cost. To teachers. I know with ours, our day one is sponsored by code.org, that it's no cost to schools, and this year the state has agreed to sponsor the day two training.
Okay, well, we will hang out here for just a little bit longer. If you have any other questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. Otherwise, then you are free to go visit the expo or the, I guess, what would be the exhibit hall, so that you can chat with some of our vendors and see what they have that they can offer you. Thank you for coming today.